Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Making an Impact with Zebu Nation. And today we have for you the 2020 Eastern Conference Finals between Montreal Impact and Orlando City. It's been an outstanding season so far. We've completed everything that the board has asked us to do, other than reaching the finals of the Canadian Championship. We were knocked out in the semifinals by Toronto. But they wanted us to finish around the top of the league. We finished third in the league, which is our best finish ever. They wanted us to reach the conference finals. Here we are. We're in the conference finals. You know, you'd think the board would be a little bit more confident than 60%, considering we're already here. We're literally about to play our first game in the finals. So I don't know, maybe after our first game, this confidence level will jump up, but confidence level is only 55% that we'll finish around the top of the league in Supporter Shield, and Supporter Shield is over. So I don't know if the board is just being, stingy with their praise or what. But I think they should be a little bit higher, considering we've reached both of our goals. Or maybe they're reaching the goals isn't good enough. Maybe they wanted us to actually exceed these goals. Who knows? We'll see. But anyway, let's take a look around the league at the playoffs. So, of course, like I said, in the Eastern Conference, we've got Orlando and Montreal. Look over at the Western Conference, see what we got here. We got LAFC and Portland. Take a look. Portland beat Houston 2-1 in aggregate. No, 4-4 away goals is what they beat Houston. Yeah, we looked at this at the end of last episode, so it shouldn't be a shock to you. Meanwhile, LAFC just smashed Vancouver 5-0. So it looks like LAFC should be the best team. But I don't know what happened in this first game, this first stage. It finished 0-0. Two of the highest scoring teams in the league. Portland was the highest scoring team in the league. And they come away with a 0-0 draw at Bank of California. So that's a little bit of a drawback for LAFC. We could be seeing Portland in the final should we make it past our opponent, which is Orlando City. Yeah, so not a lot of excitement going on there, other than looks like those teams can play defense if they want to. So let's take a look at Orlando, see what they're up to. Now, this season was their best season in club history. They finished 6th in the Supporter Shield. Previously, their best finish was 14th. So it's a big jump for Orlando, and our man, Diego Maradona, has finally made good on all the big talk. So this is a bit of a rivalry game for us. Diego, every time we get together, he talks smack. So, we're going to have to show him who's the boss in the Eastern Conference. We don't want him to get any kind of leg up on us, because he'll just, he'll dig the knife in any chance he gets. So we can't give him that chance. This season versus Orlando, what have we done? Let's see, we played a game not too long ago, 2-2 draw. Take a look at that game real quick. We had pretty much our starting lineup in, I guess. Not really. We had Dupuis in there at striker. Kyle Aaron came in off the bench. Edwards, Junior Ramos, Lopez, Nasco was in. He got substituted for Kyle Aaron. Okay, so we took Nasco out, and we went, interestingly enough, we went 4-2-4 mid-game at halftime against Orlando City. So that's an interesting little tidbit. And then what did we do earlier in the season? 0-0 draw. Again, 4-1-2-3. No, that's them. We went 4-2-4 in that first one. So let's see. Again, we had pretty much a good starting lineup. Mane was still playing at that time. We had Vasquez up front. So we were, a little bit thin on striker. So that's not a good deal. All right. So this week, what are we going to do? What are we going to do in game one? Well, we're going to go 4-1-2-3. We're going to start it out here because this has played well for us in the playoffs so far. So I don't want to change it up just yet. even though it looks like 4-2-4 is what we played both times eventually versus Orlando. We're going to start out with the 4-1-2-3, and then we can change it up should we need to. And we'll see what happens. So I'm pretty confident against Orlando, but you never know in the playoffs. You never know. These teams can always jump up and bite you. Leutwiler's getting ready to leave. We're not going to renew his contract, so other teams are coming around, sniffing around for Leutwiler. We'll see what happens. We got a couple of injuries. Mendy is back. Kyle Larin. So there's a thing in MLS. I don't know if you know about this, but it's a scheduling thing. Let's take a look at the calendar. Between the Eastern Conference semifinals, well, the conference semifinals, and the conference finals, there's a 2-week gap. You can see here, 2-week gap. Now, most of the time, for a viewer, this is terrible. I hate this. This ruins all momentum for the MLS playoffs. I remember last year, I was watching the MLS playoffs. I watched every game up until the conference semifinals. And then there was this 2-week break in November, and it's like, you forget about the playoffs. You forget MLS is going on. There's college football going on. There's NFL football. There's all kinds of stuff happening here, right? Thanksgiving and all this sort of stuff you got to worry about here in the U.S. And I completely missed the conference finals. Both conference finals. Didn't watch a single game. And in fact, I forgot about the MLS Cup this season. And the only reason I watched the Cup game was because I saw a tweet on Twitter. One of the guys from the ESPN podcast was like, game starts in 5 minutes. I hope you're watching. And that's the only reason I watched the MLS Cup, because this 2-week break just stopped all momentum in the playoffs. Now, as a coach, as a manager, this was good because right after the NYCFC game, Kyle Larin got injured in training. Go to the medical center, and he was out for, I think it was like 9 days to 3 weeks was the initial pronouncement. So the fact that he's back in about 2 weeks is pretty good. Now, he's not fit to play. He's only 88%. So definitely he isn't fit to start. We could possibly put him on the bench. That might be an option. But we're going to have to see. Match preview, Orlando City. Let's get to that. 6-4 favorites, Orlando, at home in the Orlando City Stadium. The purple wall and all that stuff is going to be waiting for us. They're inconsistent in form. They didn't have a great run of form coming up to the playoffs, but they won. Had a draw and a win in their last 2, and that's what's important. That's what's gotten them to this point. We're in decent form. 3 wins in our last 5. We hope these wins just keep piling up. Now, in our last 8 meetings, there's been 6 draws and 2 wins by us. So Orlando hasn't won a game in our last 8 games. So we got to keep that going. We got to keep our dominance over Maradona. Let's take a look at them in depth a little bit. We looked at their history a little bit. Not a great history for Orlando since joining the league in 2014. So they're one of the newer teams in the league. Take a look at their transfer history. What have they done? They did a lot this season. They picked up several players, a couple from the drafts, a couple of guys from their academy, 3 guys from their academy. Picked up Alex Mule from Real Salt Lake. He's a decent player. Several super draft players, 5 super draft players, a few free transfers. Brian Arguez, 31 years old, defensive midfielder. He's okay, I guess. Nothing really great. William Velasquez, $3.1 million. He's much better prospect. 23-year-old central defender. So great free pickup for them here. Wellington Pirulito, they played a couple of $100,000 for 29-year-old Brazilian. $1 million is what he's worth. Central defender, he's pretty decent. And then Chris Burns on a free 20-year-old American. Another defensive center back, big strong kid. nothing wrong with him. I mean, he looks pretty good. If he's got some potential, he's a really good-looking American player. They lost some guys. Nobody real big. Boateng, they waived Mule after they picked him up or before they picked him up, 3-5. Yeah, so they picked him up from Real Salt Lake and then waived him. So that's no good. They lost Will Johnson, the old Canadian defensive midfielder. 33 years old now. He's retired, so good luck for Will. What they do in the draft or the trade market, I think we've already looked at these guys at least once this season. Let's see. Traded some draft picks, picked up Darren Maddox, 30-year-old Jamaican striker, defensive forward. Lots of pace and acceleration, not a lot of finishing. Guess that's to be expected for a defensive forward. Some draft picks from DC United. O'Neal Fisher, another Jamaican fullback. Yeah, I feel we've looked at these guys before. Chris Burns, the rights to Chris Burns, the rights to Peter Holbrook. Did they sign either of these guys? Yeah, they signed Chris Burns, defensive center back. Okay, we saw that. Peter Holbrook, Ayers. They did not sign him. He's playing for Long Island. Pretty decent winger for a young guy. Well, he's 21. Yeah, he's all right. He's all right. And then they picked up Terry Murray. Also the rights to Terry Murray. They did not sign him. Another right winger, only 19 years old. So if he's got some potential, he could be a decent player. But right now, he's not looking too hot. All right. So we know what Orlando City's all about. Let's get to these guys. We played them twice this season already. So here's our conundrum. Kyle Larin, injured. He's out. So what are we going to do? Who are we going to bring in? I think we're going to bring in Jackson Amell. He's our most experienced guy who also has some, halfway decent match fitness. So we're going to put him in there. And then are we going to leave Kyle Larin on the bench? I don't know about that. How about Mendez? Mendez is going to be important for us next season. This season, that injury really derailed him. But he played really well when he was in there. He had, 9 goals this season? He made the MLS All-Star team at mid-season break. Take a look at him. He's only had 16 appearances, which is actually not many less than Kyle Larin. So he played well for us early in the season, or mid-season, I guess. 9 goals, 7 assists. He's a great player, but he's not match fit at all. 59%. So we're going to throw Jackson Amell in there, and if Jackson Amell doesn't do anything, if he doesn't play well, then we can, bring Mendez off the bench, bring somebody else off the bench. Let's make him a target man for now. And we'll play this a little differently. We'll let Edwards and D'Alessandro do the attacking, I think. Let's see. Junior Ramos. We're going to send him wide to start the game. Because as I mentioned in the last game, our midfield has been clumping up too much. Jackson Amell lacking some match sharpness, but he's got the best we got. Yeah, our midfield has been clumping up. So we're going to start sending Ramos, a little wider and give us some width there. Because Taylor's not going to come forward, so we need somebody to be in the middle of this field here. All right. So we're both going with the 4-1-2-3. I just skipped the lineups. I hope you don't mind. We can take a look at the lineups here. Thiago in goal. Duverne, Chevalier, Bruno, and Taylor on defense. Piet, Lopez, Ramos in the midfield. D'Alessandro, Edwards, Jackson Amell. So our only change from last game is Jackson Amell. Not much to look at. Meanwhile, opposition instructions. They've got their captain, Bendik, in goal. Sonis, Pirulito, Velasquez, and Fisher on defense. Oriol Rossel, Fernandez, Sasha Kleshchin still hanging in there at midfield. What's he looking like these days? 35 years old, 4 pace. So his physicals have dropped off a cliff. We looked at him earlier in the season, and his physicals were bad, but they weren't this bad. So this is probably the last year for Sasha Kleshchin. He's only valued at $7,000, and he's making $700,000. So he's making 10 times his value right now, which is probably not a good proposition. Joshua Gatt, Sebastian Legit, another old experienced player, 28 years old now. Physicals are not good for him either. But, you know, technicals and mentals are what you get when you get Sebastian Legit. And then Pierre Da Silva up front, 22 years old. Decent player. He's got the pace that they need up front. So we'll see if they can get him the ball. So, I don't know. It's an interesting team. It's an experienced veteran team, but I don't know that they're all that frightening. So let's go to the pep talk. First leg win will do us good, I guess. Get out there and win it. Okay, actually, let's do the opposition instructions. We just looked at the other team. There we go. Close down on Da Silva. Even though he's got speed, we're still going to close him down. Same thing with Legit. Same thing with Gatt. It's just what happens. It's just what we do. Looks like number 12 might be coming forward. O'Neal Fisher. We'll keep our eyes on him. What does he look like? He's got pace. That's for sure. But he's not the most intimidating guy coming forward. He's got, you know, decent dribbling and crossing, but he's nobody who's going to cause us too much trouble. So there we go. Your Montreal side can book a spot in the MLS competitions proper. Let's let the assistant handle that. How about that? Sounds good. Tunnels talks are not my thing. So Orlando is looking good. It'd be nice if they had the stand-up section here in the game. You know, if they made a point of like showing it, because their wall is kind of impressive when they've got a full crowd. Here's D'Alessandro getting by a man, sending it in. Orlando blunts that attack and ends the first highlight. It's been a long time since we got a goal off the kickoff. I can't remember if we've done it this year in the first half kickoff. I know we've done it in the second half kickoff. We got a goal. But I think 99% of the time you're not going to get much in the way of a highlight to start the game. Here we go. First highlight. Orlando with a throw-in. Sasha Kleshchin gets it to Yuri. Fredez in the midfield. Gets it to Da Silva. Nice stop by Thiago. Number 98 with a mohawk. We got to watch him. He's a little guy, but he's sneaky. Here now is Fredez. Ramos heads it out of there. Gatt's going to chase it down. Nope. He's just going to let it go out for another throw-in. Okay. Is that in the highlight? Yeah. So they got one shot on target. It was a pretty good shot. But so far we're doing okay. 56% of possession. That's odd. Here's another set piece. Gatt with a shot that goes well wide. Duverne bangs it forward. Nobody there. Sasha Kleshchin's going to gather it in. He sort of fumbles on it a little bit. Nice interception by Lopez. Jackson Amel sends it forward. D'Alessandro. He's got Edwards streaking towards the back post. He gets it not to him. Bendick intercepts. Man, I love having that speed down the sideline. Bendick is not messing around. He's going to send it long. Bruno wins the header, but Kleshchin settles it down, gets it to Legit. See if he can get it forward to Da Silva. He does. He gets free. Oof. Da Silva's got some nice moves there in the middle of the field. You know, he went right around Bruno at that point. Okay, what does our assistant coach have to say? Too many crosses, whatever. Get out of here with that. Still 0 shots on target. It's not so good. It's hard to score goals. All right, here we go. First highlight, Taylor with the throw-in. Intercepted by Sasha Kleshchin. I think Orlando is on counterattack, but I'm not sure. A little bit of a mess up in midfield. Sebastian Legit. He seems to be their playmaker so far. Good steal by Piet. Duverne has it. Duverne playing all over the park. Supposed to be at right fullback, but he's in the middle of the field. Lopez is going to settle it down, and nope, he's going to bang it forward to Raheem Edwards on the attack. There's our first shot of the game. Not much comes of it there, and now here comes Orlando on the counterattack. Nope, they're going to slow it down. So that was a good attack. It's a nice pass, but Edwards couldn't keep his current form and finish that. I mean, look at him. He's playing well. He's feeling good about life. 15 leadership. He could be a leader for us in the future, at least coming off the bench. Lopez, Ramos, Raheem Edwards gets it forward. Taylor. Lopez in the middle of the park again. He's become a good playmaker for us. Gets it out wide for Edwards. Edwards heads it down to Jackson. Great pass to D'Alessandro off the... No, he's offside. Great stop by Bendick. Point blank shot. But we were offside, so we still only have one shot on goal. How's Jackson Amell doing? 6.5 ratings, not great. Lopez sends one in. Jackson can't get the shot away. It's deflected by Fisher. It was a good set piece, though. That landed, it came right down to Jackson. So I'm definitely happy with that. If he can pick out Jackson in the lineup and get it to him, that's what we want. Although Jackson is sitting there with a 6.4 rating, not so good. 1 minute left in the half. So this half has flown by. There's been a few highlights. But with only 2 shots on goal and 11 fouls, we're not looking so hot. Orlando has regained possession, 54% now. Halftime is over. So a 0-0 seems the way of the future here. It was 0-0 in the Western Conference. It might end up 0-0 here in the Eastern Conference. I don't think I want to go crazy right now, searching for a goal. But we could... is there anything we can really do technically to change things up? I don't think so. I mean, we could move Jackson Amell forward, make him an advance forward, and maybe try to send some more long balls to him. And we'll give that a try, see what that does. Pep talk, let's be assertive. Been the better team, keep doing what you're doing. Okay, DeVerne was happy with that. DeVerne's been all over the park. Bruno looks delighted, and Jackson Amell seems motivated. Okay, so glad we left him in. Motivated by our fabulous halftime speech of, do better, I guess. That seems like a motivation. De Silva, offside? Yeah. Trying to use that speed to get by our defense. We've got speed on the wings. They've got speed down the middle. So it's just a matter of who can connect first. Here's Lopez with the corner. Drops it to D'Alessandro. He takes it out wide. Crosses it in. Jackson Amell can't get the header on it. D'Alessandro gets it back. Gets it forward to Raheem Edwards. Edwards, shot off the post. Could really use a goal here, boys. I think that would give us so much of an edge. I don't think Orlando has a ton of firepower. I think they can score on us in set pieces and stuff like that. But open play, I'm not so sure. They could prove me wrong, but we'll see. Here's Kleshchen. Fredez gets it up. Sonis is coming forward. There's Sebastian legit. Nice stop. Trying to make us eat our words about them not being able to score an open play. There's a set piece. Raheem Edwards heads it down. Or heads it away, I should say. Gat's going to recover for Orlando. Let's see if they can reset themselves. No, Piet with a karate kick right in the shins. That was interesting. He got away with it somehow. Piet is a little bit of a physical presence back there. He's our goon, as it were. He's 26 years old now. His value is dropping by the day. I don't know if I like that. Struggled with possession, 64 minutes. Jackson Amell is up to a 6.6. Raheem Edwards is down to a 6.4. Lopez looks to be man of the match material with a 7.2 rating. Taylor looking nervous. Here we go. Free kick, Duverne. Centers it to Junior. What's he going to do with it? Lopez, get it to D'Alessandro. He does. Great ball forward. D'Alessandro centers to Jackson Amell. Forces Bendick to make a really nice stop. That ball was going in. I don't think that was going wide. That was going in. Bendick made a great stop. Lopez sends in a corner. Raheem Edwards tracks it down. Edwards out wide. Crosses it right to Bendick. He's not going to miss that. He's a really good goalkeeper. I mean, he is their team captain. 31 years old now. 15 one-on-ones, 15 reflexes. You know, it's not surprising that we haven't scored against this guy. He's good. So the question is, what do we do next game? Do we go 4-2-4 in the next game, or do we play it conservative? I mean, are we too conservative right now? Maybe we should pause. Maybe we should change it up. Try to get that away goal, right? That might not be the worst idea in the world. Who's playing not so good? I mean, Piet. We could take Piet out. Go to form number 2. Go on the attack. Try to get aggressive here. We got Junior Ramos. We can drop him to the segundo role. Let him run around. Lopez, box to box. Then we could bring in our man, either Mendez. I mean, we should probably bring in Mendez. We could bring in Vasquez, the youngster, who's a little bit more match fit. But let's just see what Mendez can do out there. See if he can come in and get a sneaky goal, because he is so good. You know, look at this guy. 6'1". He's big, he's strong, he's not so fast, but he's kind of fast. He's just got great mentals, work rate, teamwork off the ball is okay, bravery, finishing of 14, heading of 15. I mean, let's give it a shot, right? Let's give it a shot. Confirm changes. Let's go. See if we can shake up Orlando. Suddenly, with 73 minutes, we go on the attack. Bring in Mendez, somebody they weren't expecting to see. Raheem Edwards not playing a great game, but we could bring Petrasso in, another guy they weren't expecting to see. You know, even though Raheem Edwards is on a roll these days, Petrasso might give us a little bit of a different look out there. I wish we had a better left fullback, or an attacking left fullback. I think we might look for that. Oops, we're going to get a highlight here. Junior Ramos sends it back to D'Alessandro. He centers to Raheem Edwards. He's going to take the shot. Nope, to Lopez with the shot. Great shot, but a great stop by Bendick. You know, I wish off-season we might go for that left fullback. Junior Ramos can't get it in there. Raheem Edwards. There's Jackson. Back to Edwards. Back to Lopez. Another shot. That one not quite as good as the previous. You know, if we can find a reserve guy, maybe in the super draft, who can be a little bit more of an attacking left fullback, then I'd like that for bringing in Petrasso, because Petrasso likes to play that inside forward. Taylor gets a yellow card. They quick kick it. Taylor's not quite in position. There's Gatt, sends one in, but Taylor heads it out. Back in to Fredes. His shot is terrible. Little shot cross action. Okay, nope, that's not it. Another highlight, Thiago. He send one downfield. Mendez wins the header to Lopez. Back to Mendez. Centers it to Jackson Amell. He's got Raheem Edwards. Raheem Edwards on the left-hand side. He gets a shot on goal. Mendez tracks it down. Tries to get it ahead to D'Alessandro. Throw in. The highlight continues. Duverne gets it to D'Alessandro. His shot goes across to Edwards. Offside. Offside. I saw the little flag man right there. Flag man. Okay, so let's bring in Petrasso. Edwards is playing better. Pan to me for Taylor. Taylor looking nervous. Got a yellow card. So we'll make that change instead. We'll do a defensive change instead of an offensive change. Lopez heads it to Mendez. Mendez, come on, buddy. Look around. Use your vision. Duverne to D'Alessandro. There's Lopez. Lopez make a play. Gets it forward to Jackson. No, come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. You can do better than that. Jackson Mel's got a 6.8. $87 minutes. Okay, I've got a feeling something has occurred to me. We could use another finisher in there. So we're going to move Mendez to target man. We're going to bring in Vasquez for the last few minutes of the game. See if he can manufacture a goal. The youngster get a little firepower in there. Jackson Amel can't win the header, but Ramos chases it down. Raheem Edwards gets it forward. Jackson Amel forward to Mendez, and there's the goal. There's the goal. We're going to cancel that substitution. What? Offside again. So we can't cancel the substitution because he was offside. I can't believe it. He looked onside to me. That's booty right there. So 1 minute left in the game. Duverne wins the header, gets it to D'Alessandro. He's going to get it forward. No, he's going to run it forward. Bad pass. That was awful. Duverne can't win the header. Ferdez gets it forward to Legit, who's lurking. Going one-on-one with Chevalier. Gets it back post to Gat. No, Thiago is there. 30 seconds. Looks like we're going to end up with the old 0-0. A lot of draws this season. A lot of draws in our whole career versus Orlando. Raheem Edwards, nice win at the midfield. See what he can do with it. Drops it back to Pantami. Pantami, what was that? Besides awful, I don't know. Chevalier back on defense. Fisher, Maddox wide open. Maddox. Scores in the 93rd minute. Brutal defense. Brutal defense. It starts with a turnover by Pantami. Ferdez knocks it forward. Legit. Good pass to Fisher. Defense is just wide open at the back, and Maddox one-on-one with the keeper. Outsmarted ourselves this game. I mean, we had the draw. We had the draw. There's no question about it. Just one bad pass, and then we lose it. Lopez bangs it forward. Raheem Edwards. He's got nobody. Junior Ramos is going to take a shot. That would have been an amazing equalizer. But no. No, we go down 1-0. This changes everything for the second game. I mean, it's kind of brutal to lose the game that way, but it's not the end of the world. It's just a 1-goal deficit. 1 goal at home, but we got no away goals, so we got to beat them at home. We can't have any draws. We got to beat them, 2-0 at home or 3-1 or something like that. So we're going to have to get upset, not happy with that result. Bruno played a bad game, 6.5 rating. Raheem Edwards, 6.2 in the second half. I guess we should have subbed him out. Not so good at all. All right, let's leave the match. So, we took a shot, and it backfired. Tried to get aggressive. Maradona, look at this, happy to show up, Zebu Nation. What is our relationship with him? I mean, I know, in my head, we have got a poor relationship, but how are we in real game world? Yeah, fairly poor, so that's good. We do have a rivalry with Orlando. Well, at least coach-wise. I don't know about team-wise if they're one of our rivals. I doubt it. Where do you see that? Is that in general? Fierce rival Toronto, Vancouver. Derby with Toronto, of course. Competitive rival. I wish they would show you like all your rivals. They only show you sort of the top rivals. But I think we've got a rivalry with Orlando. Anyway, oh, look at that. Jackson Amell and Kyle Laren. Andres Romero have all made favorite personnel. That's good. Yeah, so we gotta send our assistant to the press conference. Let him take the heat for that loss for sure. We gotta figure out what's going on here in this second leg. This is gonna be tight. It's gonna be tight. Nancy livid after conceding late goal. I mean, we had what, two goals waved off by offside. So that was bad luck. Disallowed goal controversy. Yeah. Didn't play great. I mean, other than Lopez, nobody else played really good. Our central defense did not play good at all. Bruno and Chevalier had a poor game. Yeah. So let's look at the competitions real quick. Portland and LA haven't played yet. 1-0, so when is their next game? Tie was played on 11/22. Yes, thank you. But when's the next game? Anyway, guess we could look at the schedule maybe. Might work, possibly. Our next game is December 2nd. So we got a ways to go. We got a week to go. Okay, so we'll come back in that week and play the second leg. We're behind the 8 ball a little bit, but we can still come back. So until then, until next time, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.